I want this to be the wackiest episode we've ever had. This
Now
is
I'm depressed.
I think this actually will be the coldest of cold opens because we're like looking up stuff. We like don't even know what we can and can't talk about. I'm
We're
literally
a mess.
confirming we're an
Literally a
absolute
mess.
we're in literal shambles right now.
How do I spell Novembuary?
November
Novembuary
3rd.
sev 6.
Okay, I need to see. Oh god, why is everything so loud? Oh god, I'm okay, so
I don't know.
you obviously can't hear this
Can't,
on
no.
the podcast, and you probably won't hear this on the podcast because 'cause I'll cut this part out, but
Perfect.
oh my god, I turned on Runeterra and, because I wanna check something in the game, and
We
okay.
are
Okay,
doing
so it is okay, in game, it shows the dates for the next seasonal. Okay, so we can talk about the fact that there is going to be a seasonal
cool.
coming up on the
Yep.
16th of October. Okay, I just because I wasn't
True.
sure if that was publicly announced yet,
Yeah.
which is kind of sad, but it has
Yeah,
been. So
just
we can talk
I
about the
just
fact
started.
we can talk about the existence of a seasonal.
It does exist. Yes,
It does
good.
exist and it is public, but
Excellent. Wonderful.
wonderful. Many speak of the days of the seasonal tournament coming up, and the winner takes on the forces of Diablo.
Mhm. Mhm. Were you a Diablo kid?
Hmm. So here's my story about Diablo.
Okay.
Um,
I'm ready.
so uh my parents would not let me get Diablo because it like very
It's
explicitly and clearly
specifically
like
is satanic, yeah.
yeah, I mean it has a picture of a demon on the front of it. So my mom was like, yeah, no. Not a chance. So was all I was also, when did Diablo 1 and 2? I don't even remember when those
Plus,
came
it
out,
would
but I
be a
was
shame if you grew up
was
to be a
young,
degenerate, you know?
right? It would definitely be a shame if I grew up to be a degenerate. But so my parents would let me get it. So what and my best friend from high school also parents would not get it for him either. So we had no way to play, but of course, when your parents say that you can't play a game,
You
that's all you
do
want to
it,
do.
yeah.
That's all you want to do. Well, one of my friends did have Diablo 1 and I was just entranced by watching him play it. Like I'd never seen a game like this. It's like you walk around and it's like I had played one of the Final Fantasy games and it's like kind of like that except it's like in real time and not like
Mhm.
turn-based, which I don't know. Besides Pokemon, I just didn't really care that much for when I was younger.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um so I'm like, this is awesome. You like collect the loot and it's like addicting. So I would like stay up and watch my buddy play for hours and hours and hours into the night. Diablo 1.
Yeah, okay. Hell
And I
yeah.
wanted to play it so badly. So what we did was we took a blank CD and burned a copy of Diablo 1,
Yes.
and I had to write like if it was just a blank CD that I was putting in, if my parents ever saw it, they'd be like, "What is this?" and just either turn it on and see what it was, or they'd throw it away because it was just a blank CD and they don't
Yeah.
my house didn't have any blank CDs. So I had to put like I don't even remember what I put, but I put like I don't know, like Creed Volume 3 or
Yeah.
something like completely innocuous, like now 5, like music on it. So they just
Yeah.
thought it was a music CD, but I had a burnt copy of Diablo 1. And now that I'm thinking about it, I guess you didn't need a key back then. I don't even know how we did it because I didn't have a key, obviously. So yeah, we played a burnt copy of Diablo 1 at my friend's house, and it's not a multiplayer game that you can play locally.
Yeah.
So what we would do is we had one person on the mouse, one person on
No.
the abilities, and one person on
Incredible.
the potions. We had a
Yes.
three-headed giant Diablo
I
1,
love
and we
that.
stayed up till 4 in the morning. And, like, my buddy's parents they were, like, super early, like, they'd get up and, like, run, like, super, like, health and fitness, so we stopped playing when we heard them rustling up because we had to, like, quickly,
Yeah.
like, save and take the game out and, like, run down to the basement and hide and go and head and
Yeah,
pretend like we were
exactly.
asleep, so,
We're not
uh
playing Diablo three-headed giant.
yeah, we're not playing three-headed giant Diablo.
I love
Um,
that.
that's my Diablo story. So
Ah, it's so good. I love
yeah,
that.
we'll be talking more about the forces of Diablo in this episode. I guess I'm gonna use this as the what will probably be heard on the podcast. We're gonna start
Okay.
here because
Okay, perfect.
well, only the live listeners get to hear my childhood story of
Oh, yeah.
Diablo. So if you want to hear that, if you're listening to this on the podcast and you want to hear that, twitch.tv/terrible. And you'll have to come to the pre-show when we go live. But so this episode is going to be a little bit interesting.
A
So
unique one, as they
a
say.
unique one, which I feel like almost all of our episodes are
It's so
unique in one
true.
way or
It's
the
so
other.
true.
We're gonna be talking about Worlds a little bit and what's been going on in Runeterra and all that stuff. We're also gonna be talking about some other stuff that we've been doing not related to Runeterra. So if you're just here for strategy and Runeterra
Oops.
information and news, I mean, all I can I just Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rune Terrible Radio. I am Blevins. With me, as always, is Saucy Mailman. What's up, buddy?
Hey, dude, how's it going?
It is going well. Yeah, if you're here just so on on a joke note, if you're here for Runeterra news and strategy, Omega lol, you're in the wrong spot. If you are looking for actual competitive Runeterra strategy and stuff, check out our sister podcast, the Mastering Runeterra podcast, featuring the lovely and beautiful Jason Florent and the ever so
Mm.
handsome Majin Bay
Oh,
and their
they're both
community.
dreamy.
They are both dreamy. They're both friends of the podcast, and they are our sister show. But they are much more focused on getting better, improving at the game, winning. I mean, Majin obviously had a very good run in the worlds. Jason, of course, has had many top finishes. They're also, I believe, this weekend they are doing a Mastering Runeterra. Actually, no. Last weekend they did a Mastering Runeterra tournament. They did
Yeah.
their normal tournament, I believe, and Deech won that. So long
Yep.
story short, if you're looking to check out, if you're looking to actually get better at the game, oh boy, don't come here for
Yeah,
that
this
because
is not.
if
This
anything,
is
this is going to
specifically
hurt
not.
you. This is going to
Yeah,
hurt your chances at being better at the game. We're really just uh, we're really just here to mess around and have fun.
pretty much. Yeah, this is an
In
excuse
that
for
order.
Blevins and I to hang out.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Under the loose guise of Legends of Runeterra. Though I will say, so if you haven't noticed, we have sort of shifted over to a bi-weekly schedule. At least, I mean, we're kind of breaking it here and there, depending on guests, but for the most part, we're going every other week. In 2 weeks, we will have a special episode
Mhm.
with a special guest that I can't divulge the details of yet, but make sure you know you're going to be there either live or on the podcast in 2 weeks. The date is definitely in 2 weeks. All the other details can't really get into yet. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out on Twitter, twitch.tv or twitter.com/runterrible at runterrible, discord.me/runterrible for all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it'll be a good show because Blevins and I were scrambling before this show. There's some cool stuff coming up
Mhm.
uh, that neither of us are legally allowed to talk about yet. So, bam, we don't
Yeah,
we can't
we'll
talk about
have
the cool
just
stuff we wanted to.
our discord.me/runterrible. You can find all of our links and stuff. When we can talk about stuff, we will. But enough enough about that.
Yep.
I do want to talk. So as I was, maybe it sounded like a joke because I guess it kind of was. Everything is. But I want to talk a little bit about some Runeterra stuff, and then we've got a little guest that's going to be coming on in a little later
Oh
in the
yeah,
show,
we
and they're
do.
definite.
Yep.
And that guest is definitely not our producer. I know a lot of people
Yep.
keep saying like
It's basically anyone but our producer,
it could be
as far
anyone
as I
but
know.
our
Yeah.
producer who is also a content creator or SBB, but that's not. I mean, we're going to be talking to. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but they're definitely
Yeah.
not our producer. So stop saying that they are or insinuating that they are because it's definitely not. That
Yeah.
our producer is a secret.
Yep.
Um,
Always a
but
secret until the end of time.
Yeah. So, speaking of secrets, the opposite of a secret, in fact, is who won Worlds. It was Alan ZQ. I don't know
It
where I was going
was.
with that one,
No, it
which
was
is
great.
awesome because Alan just, I mean, you know, I would, I would, maybe it's a little early to make a sort of Mount Rushmore of Runeterra content creators, but I think if there was one being made, Alan would certainly be on that
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore. I mean, just one of the longest running LOR content creators, been at the top of the game, a top streamer, and really um and just a good community member. I've really enjoyed Alan. I think besides you, Saucy, because technically I've been subscribed to you the longest compared to anyone else in Runeterra. Besides you, Alan is my longest sub for Runeterra
Yeah.
content creator. So just to kind of give
And
you an idea
you
there.
know, I just when we were getting ready to we're going over the topics and stuff for the show, I
Mhm.
want to point something out. So
Mhm.
Alan ZQ is the world champion, right,
True.
for Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah.
But I have to point this out.
Uh-huh.
I've never lost to him. In fact, he has a 100% loss rate against me in tournament play.
Wait,
Just saying.
which means that we have to crown you the world
I
champion.
am now the world champion by default.
Wow.
Yeah.
Transitive property, always coming in clutch, getting you
Yep.
those
Yep.
clutch wins.
Yep,
I mean,
and it was in one of those Riot Grand Prix.
I was
I,
gonna say you've won more Riot Grand Prix
yep,
than Alan. That's awesome.
I took him down. I just want to say that's all. That's it. We'll never have a rematch. I'll decline any
I'll
any of them.
decline. I'm not currently accepting challenges.
Yep. So, that's
Yeah.
just gonna be go on forever. He will never beat me in Runeterra.
You will forever be the world champion of Legends
Yep.
of Runeterra.
Yep.
Um,
So I'm gonna go get a crown. Well,
yeah.
I was gonna buy a crown on Amazon for some dumb reason, and now I can't remember
Was it
why.
was it a heat crown?
It wasn't a heat crown because they were sold out. I don't know if it was something to
Of
do.
course.
It might have been for a Storybook Brawl because I'd forced royals too much.
Mm.
It might have been that. I don't remember.
Yes, that's a good one to
Anyways,
have. You
I'm the
get crowns when
king.
you win in that game. But we'll be talking about that game in a little bit. But yeah, so on a serious note, huge congrats to Alan.
Yes.
I mean, just a great performance. And I know it's been sort of a meme. It's been sort of a meme that Alan has really not performed super well in tournaments. Although he actually has done pretty well
Yeah.
in some tournaments. He's done well in EU Masters. He's done well in a Mastering Runeterra tournament, I
Mhm.
believe, if I recall correctly, top four at one of those. Um, and honestly, Alan is a like consummate like control player. Even if he's not playing a control deck, he is the type of player that will control the pace of the game. Kind of similar to Mo, but in a different way, where it's like he will Mo will speed the game up to his pace. Alan
Yeah.
will slow it down. Like
He
Alan,
I was
yeah,
talking about this not long ago. Did you ever because you were a degenerate Hearthstone guy, did you
yeah,
ever follow Life Coach?
yes,
He reminds me a lot of Life Coach in that
yes,
regard.
yeah,
Very like his decision making is like so good, but like
yeah,
you can see just the wheels like it turning in his brain. He's thinking
yeah.
like when you're watching him play, he's thinking like 7 turns ahead, and
Mhm.
he'll be like, "Why this decision?" Then like 5 turns later, like, "Oh shit, that set up lethal in this strange, obscure way."
Yeah,
So yeah, Life Coach was like that in Hearthstone, and
yep.
Alan's kind of has that to me.
Yeah, Allen's is he definitely does that, which is I think is really, really good at high level play,
Yeah,
which like makes sense. It at the literally the pinnacle of Runeterra competitive play in Worlds ends up paying off really heavily. And I think in a more open setting, like even a seasonal where it's still pretty high level, but like if Allen will be able to play out a game and follow things on both his side and the opponent's side from
yeah,
going through a logical structure and can, like you said, see many turns out and plan accordingly. But if your opponent just throws a wild card in there or like they make a misplay, like a logical misplay, that can kind of throw off the calculus. And sometimes that's not always good for him,
yeah.
right? I think,
That's true.
sometimes you overthink yourself a little bit, but no, I think again, huge congrats to Allen, a really well deserved win and just an awesome one. He did end up having a him and Impetuous Panda ended up having like a celebration stream the next day. I was watching that for quite a few hours. It was essentially like a party. They were just like shooting the shit and drinking
Yeah,
on the stream, which was really fun and awesome to see that. So that's awesome. And uh, if you have been listening to our show, our last episode was really a pretty big critique on the world's qualifiers and how you can listen to the episode to get our full thoughts, but how not smooth that was and how very crunchy.
yeah.
That's the word I would use,
Instead of
crunchy.
not smooth, because it's like peanut butter terms, right?
Yeah.
There's
Well, no, I
smooth and
like
there's
see, I like
crunchy.
crunchy peanut butter, but
Yeah,
imagine
but I'm
you're
just saying
someone
like
that
the
doesn't
opposite
like
of
crunchy.
smooth
Yeah, yeah. It's
would
very
be
crunch. It was very
crunchy.
crunchy.
Yeah.
And crunchy can be good, but not when you're not expecting crunchy. Then it's almost
Exactly,
the worst thing
exactly.
ever.
Yeah.
But no, I think Worlds, the broadcasts were great.
Yeah. Excellent.
The talent was fantastic. I
Mhm.
think they had a really good lineup.
It
There,
ran
a
well.
lot of familiar faces, a lot of there were a couple of technical blips. Like there was a point in time where Skarzig was just straight up muted on the stream,
Yeah,
which
which is
was
fine.
sad. And there's a couple of things that like looking from a production standpoint, I'm like, I probably wouldn't have made that choice. But all in all, I think really good, a really good show and a really good tournament, and I'm really glad that Worlds went over how it did. But that kind of leads us to where we're at now, Saucy, where we had we had the seasonal before Worlds, we've had Worlds, and, we have, a seasonal coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But right now, it kind of feels like we're in a little bit of a summer vacation. Like
Yeah, it's like a
it's like
limbo
we don't have a
time.
set coming out, or we haven't heard anything about a set at least. I don't know. I actually don't know when the next set is coming out. I don't think anything is public about the new set.
No.
Um, I don't think anything's public, and also me with at least some amount of bit of insider knowledge, I have no idea when anything's coming out right now. So we're kind of in a like I said, like a kind of a summer vacation. It's like, you know
Yeah.
what, Runeterra is there, it's still there. We can play what we want, but like I know both you and myself have been kind of delving into some other stuff. So what have you
Yeah.
been up to lately, Sazi?
Oh, well, one, I know you also partook in this, for any of our get out your bingo cards. We're gonna talk Magic the Gathering for a second. So, we
Hey.
just had there's a new Magic the Gathering set that came
Yeah.
out, and, I have not went to a physical
Uh-huh.
pre-release for Magic in years, probably like
Yeah.
4 or 5 years,
I-
but
Yeah.
there's the new set is, Return to Innistrad, and if you don't know what that is,
Return to
Return
Innistrad.
to Return to Innistrad is the joke. So basically, what it is, it's like gothic horror themed
Mhm.
vampires and werewolves and witches and all
Mhm.
the spooky shit.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. So I went to
Love
a
original Innistrad.
it's one of my favorite of all time, just like Magic memories. So I had to go. Like one of my friends invited me, who I went to original Innistrad pre-release with. He's like, "Yo,
Mm,
let's go back and do this." I was like, "All right." So went
mhm.
to that. Had a hoot of a time. I channeled my inner Mo. I played very aggressively fast.
Nice.
Like I was just committing to plays whether they were right or not, because the set itself is not super fast. Like it's a pretty slow. Like I went to time in one of my
Oh,
rounds.
wow.
It was a draw. Like I went.
Mhm,
I had 4 wins, 1 draw, and no losses, which put me in
mm,
3rd place. But the
mhm,
draw killed me. I could have had
mm.
first.
Yeah,
But so I was just like, fuck it. I just make plays like
yeah,
untap, draw, throw a card down, and just
yep,
make him deal with it. I was just playing so aggressively fast.
yeah.
But it was super, super fun. I know you've been drafting it a bunch on
I have.
online.
I've been, I've really kind of reverted back to my true boomer days.
Hmm.
So, I've been playing I've been playing online Magic, and not Magic Arena. I have not been playing any Magic Arena at all. In fact, I booted it up today and was like, I don't have enough resources for anything. I played one game to try to grind coins, and I'm like, I'm just gonna concede on turn 3. I don't want to play this. So
Yeah.
I dropped off of Magic Arena and uninstalled the client. I've been playing on Magic Online, which is in fact the client that is from I think the last
One or
time
something.
I think the original one, like MTGO 1.0, was like 99 or
Yeah, it was.
97 when it first came out.
It might
This
have
current
been maybe
iteration, I think,
2000
was
then.
revamped about 8 years ago. So
Hmm.
still very much a legacy product,
It's
but
crunchy.
it's real crunchy, but
Yeah,
it's the crunchy I grew up on. So I
it
very
works.
quickly got used to it. It works it works better than it
Well,
used to, I will
yeah,
say. I have not had the old oh man, my opponent's not doing anything, and there's a 50% chance that they disconnected, and the other 50% is that I disconnected,
yeah,
and it's showing that they disconnected.
yep,
I haven't had that happen yet. I've done about 30 drafts actually. So which is cool.
yeah,
I've been liking the set, and I really wanted to do it just because I love draft. I love Innistrad, and unlike Magic Arena, if you put stuff in, you can actually kind of get it out, at least in
yeah.
some capacity. Like, I theoretically could sell all my cards and all my tickets. I probably wouldn't get as much as I put in just because,
Yeah,
that's
the
how
nature of the
things
beast.
work. But what I can do is if I get an entire set of cards, I can redeem that and get a physical set. I
Yeah. Do
checked.
they
They
still do
still
that?
do that.
They
They
do?
do. I checked. Yeah.
That's
So
dope.
I'm a couple of cards away from getting a complete full set
That's sick.
of
I
one
love
of
it.
every card, which is awesome. Yeah. So I put $100 in, and I'm just gonna try to. I've done 30 drafts, which that $100 probably would have gotten me about 6 or 7 drafts on
Yeah.
MTG Arena with the same win rate. So
I made a bunch of money. I had store
yeah.
credit for mine on the store still. Like
Oh,
I
nice.
haven't played there in years, but I
Mhm.
called and I pre like you register and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what's up? This is me." And I'm like, "Do you have store credit?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"I think I do." Look it up. Like, "Hey, you have like $200 in store credit. I'm like, yes, use that. And then
Yeah.
like I pulled like all of the money cards from the set. I'm like, you want to just put this in and add it to my store credit?
Yeah.
So like I made like $60 that night. I'm like,
Nice.
sweet, let's go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have been enjoying the set a lot. I also I think I definitely mentioned this on Fight Night. I don't remember if I mentioned this on the show or not, but I went to Las Vegas
hmm
for Flesh and Blood event and actually met up with our Discord homie Cosign Joe actually showed up for the
Yeah.
event and now I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I believe that he is now addicted to Flesh and Blood as
Yes.
well. As
Yeah, he's been shedding flesh and
he's
blood like all the
yeah,
time in
yeah,
Discord.
which is awesome because that's a good game. If you're watching the video, you can see I have a giant card from Flesh and Blood that I won at the event, and I had to ship back for an exorbitant price. I don't want to talk
Ah,
about how much it costs to
yes.
FedEx a card of that size across the country, but it's
It's
not
just
cheap.
like when you go to BlizzCon and there you get all of the shit you want to bring back, but none of it fits on any of your luggage. Like this
Yeah.
when we went the giant statues, the orc and the
Mhm.
non-orc, and like I was like, shit, how am I gonna
Yeah.
get this home? And I had to ship those back. I'm like, free
Yeah.
statue, it's like $50 to send home. Like
Yeah.
what the
The old what we used to do was um we would have a bag for our stuff and we'd bring an
Yeah,
entire second empty bag for merch and swag and stuff.
get
That's a
so
pro
much
that's a
stuff.
pro tip right there for you if you're
Yeah.
going to BlizzCon. Or I think you can also just get the stuff sent to your house, but that's less fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
not as
buying it
fun.
online. I want it there. I
Yeah,
want to
that's
see it even though it's literally an it's much more of a hassle to get it there, but
oh,
I want
incredibly
it.
inconvenient, but
Yeah.
so great.
So much
Absolutely.
just bring an extra bag.
Yeah.
You can, you can check your bag. Maybe that costs a couple bucks, but I guarantee you it is cheaper than sending it. Now,
Mhm.
problem with this stupid thing is that thing was not getting through an airport in any
No,
way. It was
no.
definitely not gonna happen. That thing would snap in half, and it is worth a considerable amount of money, so I don't
25
really want
cents, I
to
would
do
say,
that.
at least.
A little bit more than that, but
Oh, whoa, big
yeah,
money over there.
weird. Yeah, I know. I've got 50 cents worth of a giant card over there. It's
Yeah.
twice as much, but yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. Magic has been at least Innistrad Midnight Hunt draft on Magic Online specifically. I can only speak to that. Can't
Yeah,
speak to
no.
any other format.
The
Um,
draftsman we did a after I went to the one pre-release, we just the other weekend I went
yeah,
to my buddy's place and we did another like mock pre-release event with me and my friends, and that was a lot of
nice.
fun too. Which because you can buy like the pre-release
The
kits, which
packs,
give you
yeah, the
your
kits.
sealed kits. So that
Yep.
was super fun. But yeah, it was just like reliving because I think Innistrad was probably like original Innistrad. I think was the last time I was actually playing Standard.
Oh wow.
Because Snapcaster Mage existed.
Yeah.
So, and then when that
Delver.
rotated
Yeah.
out of Standard, I'm like, I'm gonna play Modern. Like, I'm
Right. Yeah. That was I think not I mean, original Innistrad was definitely my favorite limited set
Mhm.
of all time. There's no
Oh,
doubt in
so
my
good.
mind. It's so good. This new one is not quite as good as original
Yeah,
Innistrad, but
but
it
you
is
got
still a very
werewolves,
fun set. You do
so
have werewolves. So I'm like, they low key kind of suck in this set, but
they're not the best, but they're still werewolves.
they are
So
still werewolves. There are some cool ones.
yes.
Um, but yeah, Avacyn Restored was the one I did like
Mm,
tons and tons and tons of drafts in person and online, so that was
yeah,
definitely a fun one.
a lot.
Um,
Other than that, so I was just thinking
yeah,
about we're almost at Blevins and my 2-year friendship anniversary because
we are
BlizzCon was sometime around this time of year.
November. Yeah, it
Yeah,
would be
early November.
November. Yeah, so probably about just about a month, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, month and a
So in
week.
honor of BlizzCon, I had to reinstall Battle.net, which hasn't been on my computer in 2 years, to play Diablo 2 of all games, because that just came out
Yes.
again, resurrected, formed, whatever. I don't know what the fuck they call it.
Yeah.
I've become highly
Diablo
addicted.
Resurrected.
Highly addicted. That's all I've been doing. My friends, like, we got on last night and we had,
Yeah.
I think 6 of us running around just killing shit. Because you can do 8-player co-op in that game, which gets
Oh wow, that's sweet.
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But that's been super super fun.
Yeah. I considered getting in on Diablo. I just like I think I will live vicariously through others with that one because I
I'm
like
all right with that.
every time I play Diablo, like I'll play it a bit, and I just like that is a game that heavily rewards you for the amount of time and effort you put in, and I just never put in enough. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just very mediocre, and the experience is not as good as it could be, and it's
Yeah.
my fault, but still,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. No, it's been super fun. Just kind of like it's fun to do stuff like that and remember when you take off your rose tinted glasses of what you remember a game being, like how old game design worked. Because there's a lot of times like
yeah,
you get to the new town hub, like a quest hub.
uh-huh,
Picture this for people who've never played old games. You get to a
yeah,
quest hub, they don't tell you shit on what to do. Like it's up to you to
yeah,
figure things out.
yeah,
I think it was like the start of act one of the acts, act 3 or something. You get to the hub and there's no one to even talk to. You just like have to go out and figure out what to do. You
yeah,
don't get a mission until you kill a random like monster that spawns in a random area.
yeah,
So it's like, all right, go for it. It's so good. I love
yeah.
that crap.
It was made in a different time,
Yeah.
where like the maybe the attention spans of players were a little longer. You didn't
Hmm.
have like infinity games at your fingertips at all times. You kind of had to really commit to a session. So you're
Yeah.
fine just kind of walking around aimlessly and
Yeah.
just seeing and exploring, which is really cool. I had a similar scenario come up when I was playing SNES games on the Switch, on the Switch Virtual Console,
Yeah.
and I was playing, Donkey Kong Country,
Yep.
a game I remember quite fondly, and I'm going through it, and, so one thing that you can do with the Switch Classic, which I wouldn't suggest doing if you wanna get the original game experience, don't do this, but I'm a degenerate and I just wanted to beat the game. You basically can at any time rewind your gameplay at any
Yeah.
amount. It basically cheating, like like there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Let's
It's
be
definitely
honest, it's
cheating.
cheating.
It's
Yeah.
definitely cheating. So like if you mistime a jump, you just go and then you can just do it again in like 2 seconds. Whereas in the game, you lose a life, you get a little don don da 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 don don
Yeah.
and then it would load for a second, it would go back, and then you would re-enter the level. You'd go to the last checkpoint, which is however long away, and then you get to that spot again, and then you do the jump. Like a massive amount of time difference
Hmm.
between when you execute those two jumps, whether you cheat or not. So playing as a kid, I did end up beating Donkey Kong, but it took me weeks to beat. Like session after session after session, and then
Hmm.
game overs, and me being a kid and raging and breaking a
Yeah.
controller and throwing it at
Yep.
my brother. It didn't really have anything to do with the game. I just wanted to throw a
It
controller at my
helps.
brother.
No, it does
Well,
help.
what
Yeah.
little kids do,
Yeah.
they beat each other senselessly with
It's
their
just true. That's
stuff.
specifically true.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I beat Donkey Kong Country in terms of like the amount of physical real time. It probably took me about 20 minutes to beat Donkey
Mhm.
Kong Country. Which was I think kind of I was like, wow, hmm, there's actually only like 20 minutes of actual gameplay.
Yeah.
The rest of it is not only like just going through and like death animations and going back to checkpoints and stuff, but it's also there because I could always cheat. Whether I had one life or I had 100, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to
They're
bank up
relevant.
lives. I don't need to do any of that. Um, so there's so many things I noticed in this game, and I never thought about this before. There's so many secret paths and little like hidden things that all they do is they lead you to extra lives, or they lead you
Yeah.
to 50 bananas that can get you towards an extra life. And I'm like, why am I going out of my way to do this
When lives are
when
irrelevant.
lives
Yeah.
are irrelevant? But when you're playing the game as it's meant to be, like you need to have, okay, I need to bank up a couple of
Yep.
lives, you know?
Yep.
So it was kind of eye opening. And also me thinking about like, oh, well, you can't really have that much more content on one of these games because of the physical memory capacity on these cartridges. So it's
Yeah.
not like you could have 13 more Donkey Kong Country levels. It wouldn't
Mhm.
fit on the game, right?
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know. I mean, that this episode's going to be all about tangents, and that is a completely irrelevant tangent about
I'm all
game
about it.
design from
I'm all about
retro
it.
classic games.
Yeah. God,
Which
it just reminds me of like save scumming old CRPGs
mm,
like Baldur's Gate and stuff. Like if you
mhm.
there's a lot of those games where like there's a RNG element, like because you have a
Yeah,
hit chance, a miss chance. So like
yeah,
you could just fuck up a combat. No, nothing you even did. It's just like
yeah,
you missed 20 times in a row. You're like, reload. Like,
yeah, yeah. It's, uh, yeah. It's a different time now, but now,
yeah.
I think games are optimized in a lot of ways, and like, if you're a game designer, you have to think about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can put all these, like, extra things and put extra lives and make it, like, take forever, but at the end of the day, if I don't have fun playing the game, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
uh I bought it for $3.19 during a Steam sale,
Yeah.
and it's a miracle that I even downloaded your game. Like,
Yeah.
you better hook me when you get me there, right?
I have so many of those. What the I just did that recently where I just played a game. Oh, it was Gunfire Reborn. I bought it like
Mm,
last year and never
mhm,
even played it once. And someone's like, "Hey, have you played this game?" I'm like, "I own it. I haven't opened
yeah,
it, but I own it." They're like, "Just
mhm,
play it like you'll really like it." And I've been playing the fuck out of it. It's so good. I'm
nice.
like, "I could have been playing this game all year."
Yeah, yeah. I purposely don't go and I don't look at Steam sales now
Oh, it's the worst.
when I just won't because I know I did it. I used to. I also have I'm kind of I kind of have a I don't wanna say a I just I have a thing where, like, if it's on sale, I'm probably gonna buy it, right? It's like, how
Yeah.
could I go wrong when it's a dollar and 13 cents game? I
Yeah.
have to buy it.
Yeah.
But those add up when you buy 13 of them, 15 of them. So I literally I won't look at a Steam sale. If a Steam sale's up, I will not look at any of the games, specifically just because I know I need to not. But, um, yeah. That's Steam. But
Yeah.
speaking of game design and, games we've been playing,
Mhm.
I wanna
Mhm.
pivot this over because we do have another segment we wanna talk about. Again, not going to be about Runeterra, so if you, I probably should have prefaced this a while ago. There's probably someone listening that's like, "Okay, they're gonna start talking about Runeterra
We're
again
not.
at some point this episode." Next episode we will be. So if you are
Yeah.
waiting for Runeterra content, we'll see you in the next episode, or check out Mastering Runeterra podcast, of course. But I want to talk about this other game that both you and I have been playing, and that we are guest who is definitely not our producer, but has been waiting here. Patiently on the line
Yeah.
with
For no
us
other
for
reason
no
because they're
other
not our
reason
producer.
than they're a very patient person and definitely not our producer. About a game called Storybook Brawl, and I want to again preface this is definitely not our producer and is just a guest.
Yes, yes,
But I
perfect,
want to
yes.
I want to bring on to the show Mr. Deathblow. What's up, buddy?
Hey, bad news, guys. This is the producer here. Your
Oh,
guest
wow, whoa!
actually
Oh,
canceled when you guys supported Crunchy Peanut Butter. He didn't want to have anything to do with
oh,
that.
shit.
So yeah,
Ooh,
I guess I don't know who you're gonna talk to, but you'll figure it out, I guess.
Well,
we'll
I guess we
figure it
could just
out.
talk to you. That's fine.
Yeah,
I guess.
whatever.
So what's up, man?
Oh,
You're
not too
the
much.
you're somewhat of the SBB celebrity these days. You're popping off on YouTube.
A little bit, yeah. It's been wild, especially with such a small game, right?
Mhm.
Storybook Brawl is one that is still in pre-release, so it's not actually released yet. Early access, I think, is the
Yeah,
actual terminology they're
Yeah.
using. So it's very much so in development. We're not really even sure what like the content release schedule is going to look like, and
Mhm.
everything's really just taking shape as we play it, and it's been a lot of fun. Blevins, you actually got me into the closed beta, so I've been
Yeah.
messing around with it for a good little while now.
Yeah.
I'm having a whole lot of fun playing that game. Yeah, and especially when it's new, right?
Mhm.
Nobody knows anything, right? So you kind of like
Yeah.
have these thoughts. In closed beta, I thought Fairy Godmother was just the best card in the game, right? Like, why
Yeah.
you don't need these 6-drop cards because this one
Right.
exists, right? Why would you need
Yeah.
those? That's what happens when you play against bots. And then the
Mhm.
game actually opens up to everybody, and that card's
Yeah.
garbage, and there's no point in playing it. And then all of a sudden, people put two and two together and no, it's really good again. So like
Yeah.
it's just been like that, like constantly with this game, and it's been so
Mhm.
much fun to just kind of be part of that. And in my position too, where I'm one of the more popular YouTube channels that's posting daily content for the game, it's especially fun because like I'll put out a build in a video, and then I play. Like one time there was a sleigh build. I made a massive lightning dragon, right, and I just wanted it to be as big as possible. And 3 times the next day, like the day the video went out, I got beat by that in my lobbies, and I'm just like, well, I've never seen this once, other than like the one time that I copied the build too. Like I'm not that inventive, but
no, we definitely made up the tree.
Me and you invented that comp, and then they nerfed it. Those jerks. But so yeah, it's just been a whole lot of fun kind of learning that game along with everybody in the community, and obviously you guys know just the kind words from people. You're building your Discord, all those things that come with exploring a new game, a new title, and making content for something new. It's just so much fun. And even seeing, buddies like Saucy over there get into the game and start playing it and put out an awesome beginner's guide that I really, really enjoyed. Probably the best one for the game I've seen. So if you don't have any idea what we're talking about, you don't have to go farther than your friendly neighborhood Saucy Mailman's YouTube channel and check that out. So yeah, great job on that, by the way. We got to get you a Bob Barker microphone, Saucy. I want to see you holding a really thin one when you're doing those videos. That would be the best.
You know what I always think about when I think of those like Bob Barker thin ones is, do you remember the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie with Gene Wilder from like the 70s or whatever?
Yeah.
So there's a scene. It's not even like a memorable thing, but I believe it was in the beginning when all the kids are getting the golden tickets and they're talking about, and they go to, I believe it was Augustus Gloop's like home town to like interview him because Augustus Gloop just got the golden ticket, and they go to interview like his dad, and they're like, "Sir, what do you have to say about your son winning the golden ticket?" And he puts the Bob Barker little microphone in front of him while he's eating a plate of sausage, and he just bites it and eats the microphone like it's a sausage.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with anything, and that story is only relevant to me. But that's every time I see one of those little microphones or think about it, that's what I think of. Try the obscure Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory reference.
I miss
should wrap it in like
with you, Blevins.
You want to wrap it in like a metallic gold tape or something. That'd be pretty cool. My microphone for that.
Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't sound like complete garbage wrapped in tin foil.
Not the microphone part.
Oh, okay.
Dumbass.
That would make... Well, you're the expert here.
But I would do that too. Let's be honest.
Yeah, just, hey, this is Aussie.
It's not a tinfoil hat prediction. It's a tinfoil mic.
Here's a question for those who are for some reason still listening to the podcast. When you hear this, if you think that this is the best episode ever, type a 1 in the chat. And if you think that we should never even get close to the wackiness and off-topicness of this episode, keep it to yourself because I don't care.
That debated me because I was ready for that second option.
No.
This is gonna snap off that too, but so I guess we kind of jumped into this without even prefacing this at all. But SBB Storybook Brawl is a game made by companies name I don't. What is it?
Good Luck Games.
Good Luck Games, aka Raptero from Runeterra, Matt Nass, LSV's on that team. Matt plays a bunch of essentially a bunch of pro Magic players and like Hall of Fame Magic players, as well as other folks I'm sure are on the team as well. But those ones I know made an auto battler that is akin to, I would say it's akin to Hearthstone Battlegrounds, right? Like that
SBB actually stands for Strictly Better Battlegrounds. If anybody was wondering, that's what the acronym means.
I mean,
makes sense. Yeah, there's definitely differences to it, but if you look at it, you're gonna go, "Oh, this looks like Battlegrounds for sure."
If you've made it through a Battlegrounds lobby, you'll be able to make it through a Storybook Brawl lobby as well. It is just like you said, made by those pro Magic players, which all three of us on the call right now. It's really a shame now that I'm thinking about it that my camera doesn't work, because it would be like a beard gradient across everybody's screen right now.
Yes.
I am squarely in between the two of you in beard length, and
love that.
it would have been absolutely perfect. So that was a missed opportunity. And I lost my train of thought because I got focused on beards
pro
again.
Magic players.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all come from
So
Magic.
it's got just some added elements that make it a lot more, I think, competitively minded and better for something like esports, tournament play, and even just high-end like competitive ladder. There's a better damage dealing system when you lose or win a round, how much you're dealing. It's a lot more manageable and less punishing than Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
When you triple a unit, you don't just get like a next tier unit. There's like a whole treasure system, and so there's all these little nuances to it that I think really separate it from Battlegrounds, and like I said, make it just more focused and more competitive and strategic. As fun as Battlegrounds is, it always just kind of lost me because of those. Kind of same for Hearthstone in general after a while as a card game, just kind of those RNG elements, that kind of casual feel kind of grates on you when you're the kind of player that wants to take something very, very seriously and compete at it. And that's always been my mindset when gaming. We even did the Overwatch League podcast, Blevins, back in the day, and I would try to make it onto tier 2 teams, and I would scrim and could play seriously and do all these things just because
Numlocked and scrims.
I killed him with a mercy pistol. No big deal. He was only on the Los Angeles Valiant roster at the time that I killed him with a mercy pistol in scrims. But so it's just how I dive into games, how I learn them, how I come to understand them, is to really kind of emulate what the best players are doing and try to put myself in their position. And I was always fully aware I was never going to be a pro Overwatch player, but it's fun. It's the way I approach things. So enjoying the auto battler genre and then finding this game which really feels kind of tuned towards that style within the genre was really just a perfect home for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. The game is excellent. I mean, I was very addicted to Teamfight Tactics, and I actually haven't played any TFT since I started playing Storybook Brawl, because it's just I think it's the right amount of game time, because there's a lot of times fuck, I want to get in a game, but it's too much, and I hate whatever the fast mode of TFT is.
Oh, hyper roll.
I hate it. I don't like it at all. So I'm I just don't play. But yeah, Storybook Brawl, it's very, very good. Very good game.
Yeah.
It sneaks up on you too, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I feel like you're just oh, this is cute, this is cool, I might play this again, and then you're laying in bed at night thinking about how different cards are going to combination together, and what's the wording on them, and then so you've got to play the next day, and then you're just back into it, and all of a sudden you're 40 hours in, and you're trying to figure out where your weekend went.
Yep.
It's not my personal experience at all.
I also had really satisfying light bulb or level up moments too, where it was when I was Slaygold, the kitty cut purse, the old kitty cut purse days. Those were great. But I mean, even something as simple as I put my kitty cut purse or my adventurer in in position, what is it, position 5, the first slot in the back row. It's all of a sudden you're getting these battles where maybe you don't even win, but you get that experience, or you get that one Slaygold. And something as small as that, and the outcome of a single battle, can increase your chances of winning or placing better in the lobby so significantly. Whereas and I'm stealing this from what LSV said. I think it was actually in an interview with Richard Garfield, ironic or coincidentally enough, or weirdly enough, where in Hearthstone Battlegrounds, it was literally it was better that when the battle started, especially for these big battles, you literally close your client and reopen so that it auto stops. So it just auto calculates the battle, and everyone has, I don't know what the app is, but the HS Replay equivalent for Battlegrounds. Actually, it might be HS Replay. I don't know. Where it's it tells you what the percentage of you winning is, and at some point it either goes to 0 or 100, and it's okay, don't need to watch this anymore. Also, never needed to watch it. Just get me out, because the macro, it's binary. You either win or you lose. And you take a certain amount of damage or
Yeah.
whatever in battlegrounds, but the like do you get a slay proc? Do
Yeah.
you do you crack their egg? Do you do this, that, or the other? It's so there's so many like smaller things there that actually make the battles matter, and even
Yeah.
just single attacks matter. That just like I don't know, just a little thing like that, and a little it makes it so much more it makes it so much more
Yeah.
just
Per-
enticing to play.
Purposely playing down a minion so that your white stag attacks first, pumps your backline minions,
Right.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
is really good, and I know specifically for me, some of my big level up moments were Grimsoul as a card, just in
Mm.
general. Like if you're
Mhm.
not finding opportunities to abuse that card, you're leaving a lot of value on the table.
Yeah.
And very much so tied with that is Polywoggle, is another one.
You
It's a
love
Oh,
I've
Polywog.
Polywog was one of my favorite cards.
fully converted to the Church of the Polywoggle.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
The only thing that was ever better than Polywoggle was Baby Bugbear, and that lasted 2 days before that
That
got
card was
removed.
not
Old
okay.
Cat
from
was
the
pretty
game.
good too.
What's that?
Pre-changed Cat was quite insano too.
Copycat, you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
The old
absolutely
one.
nuts.
The old one. The Last Breath one, not the one that
Right.
attacks one.
Right. Um,
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
what's cool about it though is like it's an auto battler card game. I mean, when you look at it, it's the very fundamental basics of it are easy to grasp. Like it doesn't take long to learn the basics, but there's so many micro and macro decisions that you would get from like team fight tactics.
Yeah.
Like there's so many just different decisions, like very small things that lead to these big victories. And it's plays like that that make your brain feel good. Like
Mhm.
you get the knowledge bomb where you're like, I played better than my opponent, so therefore I won, and that feels really good in a game like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I always search for and just outplay opportunities, like you said. You just give me an opportunity to make a decision that
Yeah.
interacts with my
It's it
opponent in a way that
and not even I don't even we haven't even really mentioned the whole spells thing too. There's just so
Yeah.
much good. And I guess I probably should have disclosed this first. We're not sponsored by or receiving anything on this podcast for SBB. I know you two are like content creators and have like codes and stuff from them, but
Mhm.
not like this is not a sponsored or paid promotion
Yeah.
for SBB. We just actually like the game a lot.
Yeah, it's just super good.
I actually talked with Raptor many months ago. It was actually how I got in the closed beta and got uh uh access for some people too, about him maybe coming on and talking about the game a little bit more, which would
Yeah,
be really cool. Which would just
I'm
be
down.
cool, I think, to talk about the game again. We're kind of in off weeks. We're gonna take our liberties and talk about what we want to. That's the
Yeah.
beauty. If you're here for Runeterra stuff specifically, we'll definitely still have that tied into many and or most of the episodes.
Yep.
But
Like next week,
again,
next show
yeah,
in 2
next
weeks,
show there will be next show will be exclusively Runeterra.
there will be
Um,
blood and Runeterra.
there will be blood and Runeterra.
I'll be
But yeah,
muted the whole time.
you like
Yeah,
cut
we
out at
just
some
went with it.
point, so we were just like, we're just gonna keep her going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the long and short of it is, if you haven't checked it out, definitely do check out Storybook
Yeah, it's
Brawl. I
great.
believe it's free. It's
Yep.
100% free on
It's just on
Steam.
Steam.
Early access. You don't need any special code or anything. Definitely check that out, and check out Deathblow's channel as well. What's your YouTube, DB?
Deathblow TTV everywhere. I just have that name across every platform in exist, even on Twitch, right? Because
Yeah.
Deathblow's not available anywhere, so even on Twitch,
Uh-huh.
I have to be Deathblow TTV, and then I've been able to secure that in every location. So that's how you'll find me on YouTube, and yeah, that's how you'll find me everywhere, and including Twitter and everything like that. So
Yes, and if you are hearing this on the show and you go check out Deathblow's YouTube, just leave a 1 in the
Yeah.
comment section, and he'll know.
Do it on today's video because I literally beat Blevins in the finals of
No,
that
don't
video.
do it on a different video.
Look at what a terrible Mordred player he is. Playing
Oh.
Mordred to begin with, I mean, it's just
Okay, I
Hey,
didn't
Mordred's
play
pretty
Mordred. I played Galahad and then transformed into Mordred. Okay.
that's true, and that's actually a good play. But
Yeah,
you made it, so I will
You were
not
just
give you any
so
credit.
sad. You were just so sad admitting I made a good play.
I hate doing it. I really
Yeah, no
really
one
don't.
wants to.
So people won't know this, but like I live in the same city as Blevins. We hang
Yes.
out on occasion in real life, and
Yes.
all of his Magic the Gathering stories I'm somewhere in the background of, at least the not super local ones, right? Like we didn't go to the same FNM, but we were always at the same regional events, and that's how we got to know each other. So I have, it's in my blood. It's like your brother, you know, like you just you have to make fun of him. You can't let him get away with anything like enjoying crunchy peanut butter. It just it grates
I
at
love
me.
crunchy peanut butter. So good. But yeah, I mean, again, check out Deathblow TTV everywhere. Check out SBB. If you like, I mean, if you don't like auto battlers, don't check it out because you're not going to like it. But if you do like auto battlers at all, I think you're really going to enjoy SBB because it really. When I first, well, okay, I was already kind of pre-sold because I'm like, I know of the people who make this and I'm very confident in what they do, but I was like, this whole like fairy tale thing, I don't know how much I'm gonna like it. I really have enjoyed the IP in general. Like I think they've done a lot of clever a lot of clever puns and whatnot.
Yeah.
The first time that it clicked for me that free roll lets you roll for free, but it's a picture of a roll, like a piece of bread. Uh, that made me laugh. And there's a lot of other good ones too. Also Bernstein. When you figure it out, you'll your mind your mind will be blown. But
That happened to me on stream. That was fun.
I remember. DB, any closing words for the channel, SBB, anything else that you want to leave the Rune Terrible folks with?
No, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I just really compliment the whole production of this show. I think it's great that I was able to like call in halfway through the episode and be brought into the call and everything like that. Like it's just really everything behind the scenes really clicks here on Rune Terrible Radio, and I just think you two specifically do such a great job to make everything work in the background. And
we're doing everything.
Thanks for that.
So.
Yep.
Thank
It was really great to have you, and it's really great to have you as a friend and a content creator, and definitely not our producer. So that's great. But thanks again, DB. We'll be in touch.
I filled the yearly quota of nice things me and you say to each other. So let me get out of here.
Okay, Saucy. That was a little off the rails, but I had fun. I
mean, I'm enjoying myself, and that's all that matters, really.
True. As long as you're enjoying yourself, I don't care about
Anything
else. But I think this is now a good time to call it for this episode. Where can people find you on the internet?
Why you gotta put me on the spot like that? You can find me doing stuff. Just saucymailman.com is my website. We're in a weird content schedule right now. I'm streaming like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I have a lot of cool shit coming behind the scenes at some point, but I don't know when it's all gonna come together. I don't know. I'm just vibing.
Vibin and survivin'. No, that's a new thing. Make t-shirts.
Yep.
That's going to be the first Rune Terrible t-shirt. Vibin and survivin'. Makes no sense whatsoever. But you can find me on the internet, Twitter at @the_Blevins on Twitter. You can find the show on Discord, discord.me/Rune Terrible Radio. I completely forgot everything. That is where the show and everything lives. Battle Panda City. That is the place to find. That's the place to find the show.
BattlePandaCity.com.
Remember to check out Deathblow TTV everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all of that for all sorts of like seriously the best SBB content that's out there. If you're looking to get started, I know you also have a good intro video, Saucy. So definitely check
Yeah.
that out if you are looking to do that. But that's going to be it for this episode. We are going to be back in a couple of weeks with a special episode that we'll have more details on later. We can't talk about anything right now because NDAs, etc., etc., etc. But for Deathblow TTV, for Saucy Mailman, I'm the Blevins, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about some more Legends of Runeterra.